Dave here, how are you? Welcome to the new addition to my workshop. This is the Kapex 120. This machine has replaced my Bosch compound miter saw that I've had for 15 to 20 years. Great saw, no complaints. The bearings were going on it, it was old, it was time to upgrade, so I thought, you know what, let's have a look around at what there is available and what my requirements for my workshop were as far as one of these machines is concerned. Stick with me, here we go. Now the reason I've gone for a sliding compound miter saw is that I have a much larger width of timber that I can cut with this. With the standard compound miter saw that doesn't slide, you're restricted to those small areas. Maybe 170 millimeters will be the maximum length of the cut. With this one, it'll go to 314 at 90 degrees. It says 88 millimeters deep, but it'll actually do 90. So if you're doing posts and stuff like that, don't be concerned, it will do the job for you. I was looking at a couple of different saws. I was looking at the Bosch glide saw and also the 88 model of this machine in the Festool. And whilst the Bosch glide saw was a 12-inch blade, a bigger diameter, I just found that all of the controls were a little bit clunky, not as easy to use as the Festool's was. Also, the Festool came with some other accessories that just clinched the deal for me. So let me start by going through the two saws that Festool make. They make the 88 and the 120. They are the same saw. It's just that the 120 is the pimped up version, if you want me to go that way. They both have a soft start motor. They both have the capacity for leaning left and right 45 degrees. They both have the same function in the table at the bottom. Both have that capacity there. They both have a very easy undo at the back there to be able to rotate, and they have that indenting that if you want to, or you can push past the indent. What else do they have? Trenching. Both of them do the trenching. And trenching's great. There's a little handle here. Let me have a look, see if you can see it on the other camera over here. Little guy there. I push that forwards, lower it down, or bring it back up again, which is really handy. The saws, as I say, are identical. They both have variable speed. One of the other things that both of them have is this fast fixed switch over. So let me flip her over that way, lock that. This guy here, I turn that. Now I've disabled, I've got the power turned on, and it's also locked the blade. Can't move the blade. You can release that, Allen key at the back, undo the blade, slip it up, put another blade in. If I want to cut aluminium or other products, I can switch the blades around really quickly. One of the great things about this saw is it's got twin lasers at the front. Each of those lasers are perfectly in line with either side of the blade. So where those lasers are, that's where the cut's going to be. Now I can show you how this works. I'll turn the lasers on. Now you can see they're on now, and I can lower that down. The lasers, you can see it there, are appearing on the side of the board. Now you'll notice the lasers come and go. They disappear and come back. You might say, hey Dave, that's not too good. Well, rather than have the laser blurring a pencil line, I can see pencil line, laser, pencil line, laser, which is pretty good. I like that. Okay, so as you can see, I can see what's happening. I can make sure that my bevel is correct. This is great. Now I found out when I bought this particular saw, the lasers were slightly out. And I thought, oh no, that's no good. But it made me read the manual and realize how easy it was to adjust the lasers. Very, very easy. 2.5 millimeter Allen key, hex wrench. There's these little dots here. You just push the Allen key into the dot and you adjust, and that moves the laser backwards and forwards, perfectly line it up with your cut. And it took a couple of seconds. There's X, Y, and Z axis. So 1, 2, 3 axes on the left and the right hand laser. Adjust them up however you want. They're fine. It's not as if you feel as though you're not comfortable with it. Yeah, probably send it back to Festool, but you know what? They're easy to do. I can do it, so anyone can do it. So there we go. We've got the laser, which is one thing. What's the next thing? Turn the laser off. Say to me, David, why is it called a 120? Yeah, that's what I used to think. Why is it a 120? Well, it will cut 120 millimeters. Remember, these things are made in Europe, so everything's metric. It will cut a skirting board, which is, or baseboard for you guys in America, skirting board 120 millimeters deep by 19 millimeters wide, and it will do it on the back. So how that works is you set it around to 45 degrees or whatever angle your mitre is for your skirting board. You pull the saw forwards, this little section here, you drop down, push it back. And now you've got the capacity to cut 120 deep up against the back of the fence there. So the dust collection is working really well. As I say, there it goes. As you push the timber down, it pushes the rest of the dust extraction up out of the way for you. That keeps the saw forward, so your flanges aren't going to touch the timber that you're cutting. And also, it allows the saw to drop down into the table further than it normally would. See, I can push it all the way down now, which is going to complete the cut right to the back. Don't be like David here and think, oh, you know, I'll just get the 88, bring it out to about there, I'll turn the clamp on, the little lock clamp that stops the saw moving backwards and forwards, and do the cuts that way. Ain't going to work, because the saw can only go to that depth. There's a mechanism in here that lets this one go all the way down to complete the cut. The protractors at the back are so easy to see. So I've got 0 through to 45 and 0 through on the other side, both directions. It's just, there's twin protractors. Anywhere the saw is, I can see, and see how easy it is to roll it over. There's 30 degrees there, dead easy to see it. Back to 0. Whilst we're talking about the protractors, this guy here is so good. This is my, do you like that? Do you like that? I do. That's amazing. So that lets me just set it to wherever I want, and I can hold on to the saw at that position, drop the clamp. Now I'm locked at whatever that is, 5 degrees. The 88 does not have that fine adjust on the angle for left and right. Oh, that's right, talking about angles. It comes with an angle bisector. Now this guy is fantastic. Do you ever watch Ghostbusters? Through the library, something like this. That's humour. Anyway, this is fantastic. This is going to really hit a tune with anyone who does angle work like staircases or architraves or skirting boards, baseboards, up staircases and things like that. So that's the angle I've got to do. Immediately, I've bisected the angle. I put the angle divider on there. I turn my laser on. I'll set this back to 0, of course. Turn my laser on. I turn this guy around until my laser lines up with the board. Now I'm working on the wrong side here, so it's a bit hard for me to see it. But let's say I spin it around. Say that's where the laser's perfectly. I'm locked. How good is that feature? I do my cut. It also allows me to check on a nib wall. So I'm doing baseboards around a nib wall in a house. I push it through the other side, like so. And maybe that camera's going to be better. So I can check it, and maybe it might be 90 degrees, it might be 87 degrees or something like that. I find out what the angle is by putting it up against wherever that nib wall is. Tighten this up, pull these back, and you know what? There's my angle bisection again, straight away. These things are fantastic. The 88 does not come with that. This on its own is worth the extra. That lives in there. Now you'll notice on the 88 there's a hole there, but there's no plastic scabbard for it to go into. And what other features has this bad boy got? Oh, that's right, it's got a vernier caliper. I didn't realize this. Right. Down here are 3 green lines above the protractor for the horizontal plane. Now, the center one has got a little arrow on the end. The two, one either side, has got a half. So it's 0.5 of a degree. So it's very easy to do. Say I want to go to to naught. I'm on 90 degrees at the moment because that's naught. And if I want to go to half a degree off 90 degrees, I just line it up so that that line is perfect. Now I'll take a photo, I'll show you a photo of what I mean. And it is absolutely brilliant. This is a feature I never realized. I stumbled across it because I was looking at it in the shop, and I was thinking, oh geez, I really like this saw. Sorry, the inserts at the bottom, you can adjust backwards and forwards. I don't use the inserts too much. I use a sacrificial board on the base if I want a really super clean cut, and that will give me a 0. And I set the trenching lock, so I keep the blade up. I do a tiny cut through. There's so many things about these sliding compound miter saws that are tricks of the trade, and we'll try and get to them as I'm doing another project here and there. I'll point it out and I say this is what you can do. Also, I put boards up against the back here, so I've got a sacrificial fence that I can cut through, gives me no tear out on the back. I hold it in position with the hold down clamp that the saw comes with. You know, the quality is all there. Everything is there that you need. Variable speed. So on the side here, I'll show you a photo. This one has got the different types of materials you can cut and the speeds that it recommends. It tells you the number and what that number relates to as far as the RPM is concerned. So the number on that little dial, and I'll show you a picture of that little dial as well. It's your speed control. What else have we got? What else have we got? We got a lock there to hold it down for transport. Festool make a fantastic stand for this, that you can fold it up, wheel it into a corner of your workshop and hide it. The rails either side as well, which are your supports for putting timber on. It's got the measuring system and all that kind of stuff on it. That's fantastic as well. There's very little setup, and you can put it out of the way. Now, I'm in a fortunate situation where I've got a fair bit of space as far as a home workshop's concerned, so I don't have to put it away. I didn't really need that, but if I was doing some more work and I was mobile again, because I'm not out on the tools much anymore, so I do everything in here. So I don't really need all that kind of stuff. For me, this is just fine. I spent a lot of time setting this up. So that brings me to the next part. This used to have the Bosch sitting in here, and I built this unit for the Bosch. I had to lower the height because this sits slightly taller than the Bosch does. I also changed this platform so that there was a big slot right at the back. I had made a slot in the previous platform that I built for this around about 3 inches from the back, and I found that was collecting a fair bit of dust. So this is perfect. I've put nice little chamfers on it, you know, with the melamine iron-on plastic edging, and I didn't do any cutting. I just folded it around and kept ironing as I went, and it's come up quite well. I was happy with that. It's another little thing you learn as you go along. I spent a long time leveling it up with either side. This bench was level to start with. So I used my 2.7 metre track for the track saw on its edge, not with the splinter guard side down, but with the other edge down. So I had this beautiful long straight edge, and I got this sat here perfectly. Also, I've advanced the unit around about 3 millimeters away from my my measuring system on the side here. And I did some interesting things as well. I trenched out the back of my my stops. Now I'll bring one of the stops down, and you'll see when I swing this thing back around to 0, it's still calibrated perfectly. Took a long time. That is 20 millimeters there. Not that I'd do a cut that small, but I've recessed it so that it would go around these fences and still travel backwards and forwards nicely. I've maintained this little slot under here. This little slot here I just did with the table saw, and that's so that so I'm cutting something, I don't want dust building up behind there, so that's actually a curved cutout underneath, and so the waste comes out here and just goes away. That's if there's any dust. You're always going to get dust with these guys here. So that works absolutely perfectly. I'm going to put a shelf across the top here, and that will also inhibit any dust blowing up that way, and hopefully it will concentrate it to add more suction to that rear port. I guess the last thing to do really is to cut a piece of timber. Look, I wear this even though the dust collection on here is pretty cool. I do wear it. I've got the shop back is hooked up through this. I've got the dust extractor down the back sucking all the air down through the back of this. And you're not in a great position over there to see this, but I'll try and do it to the other camera over there. You can see the lines there. There we go. That's factory. That's better than factory. Like, people rave about this saw, and with all good reason. If the videos that I do help you out at all, that's great. I love being able to help people. Now, a way you can help me as well is if you like the video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I always love to get comments. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.